Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are doing something different. We are checking out the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I know some of you might be thinking like, wait, hold up.
The DJI Osmo Pocket 4 is rumored to drop in 2026. So why should I still buy the Osmo Pocket 3? So in this video, I will give you a few reasons why this camera is my go-to choice for all my video needs in 2026 and why it makes a lot of sense.
So why did I go for the Osmo Pocket 3? Well, here is the motivation. I wanted something that is not bulky, that is easy to move around. I can just like literally throw it in my backpack and just carry it around. I usually shoot alone. I don't have a crew, obviously, and I usually travel with my friends and family. So I just want something that's easy to use, easy to teach for someone who's recording me or I am recording them. And it's stable and gives like crisp and clear shots. So without further ado, let's look at the specs. So I've got the Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Combo, and at the time of recording, the Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Combo retails for around 1,100 Australian dollars, and when I bought it, it was around 800 Australian dollars after like Black Friday discounts and coupons and gift cards, etc. So yeah, you can get it a bit cheaper, just look out for good deals. So let's get into unboxing. So straight out of the box, you've got the Osmo Pocket 3 itself. You've got the protective case for your gimbal because the gimbal is fairly delicate. You've got a DJI Mic 2 transmitter which connects to the DJI Osmo Pocket wirelessly, and that's a great tool. You also get a dead cat for your mic, which kind of breaks the wind noise. With the Creator Combo Kit, you get an extra battery handle with a 1/4-inch thread. You can extend your shooting time using that, which makes it good for longer sessions or travel days. You've got a mini tripod. You've got a Type-C cable, you've got a carry bag, you get a wide-angle lens, but when you put your wide-angle lens, be careful about your lines because any straight lines that's very close to the lens will kind of distort the view. And then you've got a DJI wrist strap. The body itself is a little bigger than the Pocket 2. It feels very nice to grip onto, and it has improved button layouts, which feels a bit more intuitive than the older models. You've got kind of a joystick that controls your zoom and your gimbal. And then you've got a button for play and pause. On the front, you also have your mic. And on the sides, you have got a slot for an SD card. Make sure that when you buy this thing, you buy an SD card as well because it doesn't come with an SD card, but it requires an SD card. The screen also is a big highlight. It's a rotatable 2-inch OLED panel, so it gives you like super bright, super crisp display, especially outdoors. And it makes framing, especially selfie or vlog videos, very easy. You can flip it vertical or horizontal based on what type of content you want to shoot, and it's ideal for like YouTube, TikTok, etc. You can shoot both portrait and landscape just by a flick of screen, and yeah, it's very user-friendly. The battery capacity itself is now 1300 mAh, which generally is not a lot. This gives you around 166 minutes for full HD recording and up to 113 minutes for 4K recording. However, you get fast charging. So the camera itself can charge up to 80% in 16 minutes, depending upon what sort of wall plug you're using. I think you have to use like 30 watts or higher for that. And it is super useful when you're shooting over a very long day, you're taking multiple shots. You can top it up really quickly using like an external power bank. Based on my real world use, you can expect around 2 to 3 hours of real-time usage based on what type of frame rate you're using. I use different frame rates, so I get around 2 to 3 hours typically out of a single charge. If you're shooting 4K, the battery drains out quicker, but since you've got an extra battery, quick charging, it should not be a problem for you to shoot 4K throughout the day. With the Pocket 3, you get a 1-inch CMOS sensor. It's a big jump from the earlier Pocket 2. This means that you get better image quality, better dynamic range, noticeably clear low light performance. It can shoot up to 4K 120 frames per second at 16:9 aspect ratio. If you change it to 1:1, then it reduces from 4K to 3K. And you also have 10-bit color profiles. That's like D-Log, HLG if you are into like color corrections, etc. And it gives you much richer color depth and flexibility in post-production. So the video goes up to 4K 120 frames per second at 16:9 aspect ratio. So that allows you like very smooth kind of slow motion shots. And then since the gimbal can rotate and it stabilizes itself, then you can get like very like different varieties of shots. And it's a great tool to have in your kit when you're trying to take a bunch of different videos. Another good thing is that you can customize your white balances, exposures, the way your gimbal moves. You can also set the gimbal at a particular horizontal axis so that whenever you move around, the horizontal axis kind of remains the same. You can also do hyperlapse and time lapse at 4K 30 frames per second, which is great for like B-rolls and nightscape kind of sunset shots. The Osmo Pocket 4 can also be paired to your phone using the DJI Mimo app, which kind of gives you real-time feedback. You can control your gimbal using this app. You can do a bunch of exposure adjustments, ISO adjustments, etc. using this app. So this is quite handy. You can remotely control your gimbal using your phone from a distance, which is great. All right, so the Osmo Pocket 3 can also do active track, and I'll show you in a second how it's done. It basically locks onto the target and it kind of tracks its movement. If you kind of move slowly, the camera will move around with you. And I think it's great if you're doing travel vlogs and all of these kind of things. So give me a sec. So you can see I've locked it onto my hand and it kind of moves like this. I think it is great if you're doing like recording yourself, walking around, or just generally any kind of shots. It's great, it's smooth, it kind of tracks it really well. I really enjoy it.
So let's have a look at some daytime footage.
So the daytime video and photo performance is excellent.
And as you can see that the video quality is so good, the 4K is so crisp and clear. I didn't have to do any video processing or color processing. The video performance on the Pocket 3 is so good that this video on iPhone 17 Pro was completely shot on the Pocket 3, and I think that's a great win. So let's have a look at some nighttime footage.
So the nighttime performance is way better than the older Pocket 2 as the sensor is bigger, so it allows more light. It captures less noise, better detail, and it's usable for shots even when natural light is low. For me, I don't have much natural light in this area. I'm recording over the Osmo Pocket 3 and I have got just one key light in front of me, and I think it's doing a decent job. However, you should know that it does not allow for Z-axis stabilization because it's a gimbal, so you have to walk very carefully. And if you have a lot of movement in the Z-axis or the vertical direction when you have held the camera, then that is very hard to edit out during post-processing. Alright, so that brings on to the things that I like about this camera. So the first thing that I like is that it is compact and pocketable. You can literally put it in your pocket and just go around with your day, and whenever you feel like shooting, you can just pop it out, take some shots. So that's great. So the other thing that I like is the large 1-inch sensor that comes with the camera, along with a 10-bit video capability. So it results in a great overall video quality, great dynamic range, and low light capabilities. The 2-inch rotatable OLED screen is also great. It's excellent for vlogs, selfies, just general positioning yourself, knowing where you are. It is super bright during the outdoor sun, so it's clearly visible, so that is great. The other thing that I like is the ability to shoot 4K 120 frames per second, so that allows me to take great videos for slow motions, B-rolls, etc. Battery life is on the lower end, but you can get spare batteries, which is relatively cheap, and then you can charge it up really quickly. It has fast charge, 80% charge in around 20 minutes, which is great if you're just having a very long shooting day. And then you've got an internal mic array, which is great itself. Overall, I really enjoy the versatility of the Osmo Pocket 3. It allows you to do many things for which you would either need like a big camera with like big gimbal, which is super heavy and requires a lot of money. This one is kind of affordable and kind of gets you a lot of different types of shots, which is, I think, a great addition to your kit. Another thing that I like about the Osmo Pocket 3 is how small and discreet it is. I don't like shooting outdoors and kind of attracting attention, which I used to do when I used to hold like a big camera. With this, I can be discreet. Nobody really notices or sees this camera. It kind of hides very nicely in plain sight. It's not big. I can just pull it out of my pocket, take a quick video and nobody will even notice that I have it in my hand. So I think that's a big win for me personally. Another great feature about this camera is live streaming. So there's an option to live stream. You can hook this camera and use it as a webcam, and the active track features can track you when you are moving around or you're doing a bit of live stream. So the 4K bit on this camera can be used for live stream purposes. So I don't do live stream, but for people who do live streams, I think this camera can be a great alternative to whatever they have, or maybe like a secondary camera or something. But yeah, it has that capability and it can live stream straight to like Facebook or Twitch, wherever. So yeah, just do give it a shot. Alright, moving on. The things that I don't like. So the lens on the Osmo Pocket is fixed. So you're just limited to digital zoom. There is no optical zoom. So you lose a lot of detail when you're trying to zoom in, etc. You can take wide angle shots and those are all great. But as soon as you start zooming in, taking some tight shots, you can see how the camera is limited.
Another thing that I don't like is the lack of inbuilt zoom. So the Pocket 3 can only zoom up to 2x, which I think is quite short, and I think it's not great. If it could zoom up to 4x at least, would be okay, but 2x is just too short for me.
The other thing that I don't like about this camera is that there's no ND filter inbuilt into the camera. You usually need ND filter if the outdoor exposure or brightness is very harsh and the sensor is overexposed. So you lose like a lot of detail in brightness. You need to buy the ND filter separate. But the cool thing is that it magnetically kind of snaps on to the sensor itself. The camera itself is also not weather sealed, so you have to protect it when you're out in the rains and if there's dust, etc. You have to be really careful. Another thing that I don't like about Osmo Pocket 3 is how sensitive and how delicate the gimbal is.
The screen is a bit wobbly, and when you rest the Pocket 3 on its screen down or screen up and you try to switch it on, the gimbal kind of rotates in a weird fashion and kind of destabilizes the whole unit. Another thing that I don't like is when you switch off the device, the gimbal comes into its lock position, and this lock position can unlock very easily. So when you place this device in your bag or in your pocket with other items and sharp objects, I feel that this lock could come loose and the lens could be exposed to sharp objects and it might damage the lens or scratch it. So I fear for that and it gives me anxiety.
I have seen people breaking the gimbal or the camera lens while having their Osmo Pocket in their bag or in their pocket. You have to be very careful with the gimbal and keep it in the protective case.
So when you're shooting in low light, you cannot do cool stuff like rotational shots, which I think is a drawback. Hopefully in the new software updates, they solve this problem, because I would love to have these cool shots when I'm using low light mode for shooting during night times and other scenarios.
So what do I think of the Osmo Pocket 3? The Pocket 3 creator combo is a solid foundation to build upon. It has great features, respectable camera, respectable daylight and nighttime performance, super crisp and stable images. It has great audio and portability with the mic setup. For most people, Osmo Pocket 3 will do the job, will get them started, and will take amazing videos and photos. For me personally, I travel with limited gear. I don't like carrying big tripods, big cameras. I don't really know how to use those cameras like the DSLRs and mirrorless to its full potential. Even with the hype around Osmo Pocket 4, I think Pocket 3 is still a great buy. It's an absolute bargain, especially if you can get it on a discounted price. I generally think that whatever will come in Osmo Pocket 4 will be like an overkill, and the current Osmo Pocket 3 ticks all the boxes apart from obviously waterproofing. If Osmo Pocket 4 is waterproof, I think it is the better one to buy. Alright, so that was my time. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.